Hello, and welcome to Member Tips with Anna. The member tips part, is broken up into two parts. I show you a little thing that I learned that I really wanted to share with you, and then we discuss what I advertised last month. And the main tip for this month is stash organization, which you see behind me, my stash. And I'm very excited that I have two members gave me pictures of their stash to show you. But first, the freebie. I've signed up a couple times to do some Vogue live knitting classes, which if you are at all interested, I highly recommend. Right now they're doing them virtually, and it's pretty cost effective, and it's once a month. So go check out their teachers, see if there's anybody you want to go see. I signed up with a class for Lily Chin, who wrote a book on tips and tricks, and I took that class and I was really excited to learn this one. And she said it wasn't in the book, and I'm telling you why I learned it from Lily Chin. So, and you are going to use this immediately, I promise. It's really great. When you go to and find a yarn without any yarn ball attached to it, maybe somebody gave it to you, maybe you lost it, maybe you wound it and didn't have it anymore, and you look at it and you think to yourself, what size needle do I use with this? And it's a good question, and you could just start somewhere, guess, and knit a couple gauges, which is what I did before I learned this trick. What Lily says is you can take a needle gauge and then fold your yarn double and see which hole fits that yarn double best. Because what we're doing when we're knitting is putting that yarn twice around a needle that size, and you can get a really good idea by seeing how much space is left in that hole when you stick that yarn through about where to start. So this might even not be, it'll get you started. So there you go. You don't need a yarn ball. And sometimes those yarn ball things that tell you what needle size or gauge it is are dirty, rotten liars. Like you'll look at it and they'll say sport or DK, and you're like, I am sorry, that is fingering. So then with a bigger yarn, you're like, just move it in and out. I've used it like 3 times already, and I've learned it last month. So super good tip for learning how to, or figuring out what size needle you want to start knitting your yarn with. All right, that was the freebie. On to the main tip, and we have some slides that I think Julie's going to put up. Pictures of other people's stashes, which everybody's brain works different, so everybody's stash is going to work different. So take what's useful to you and then leave the rest. I have a really great picture. Carrie has shared a picture of her stash, and she says, I had some of my stash nicely placed in some drawers in my office closet, but also some bags that were untidy. With a closet organizer, and you can see it right there on the right in the photo, I have been able to make my closet look much nicer and my stash is much better organized. And I think this is absolutely brilliant what she did. She just got herself some more space there on the side, and it looks really fabulous, Carrie. Thank you very much for sharing a picture of your stash. So if you are storing in a closet and you need just a little bit more space, you can use those dealies to give yourself some more organization. Our next contestant is Kimberly, and she says, I use fabric cubes and sort by weight. So some very similar organization going on there. And I even have one for hibernating projects, which I think is brilliant. If you are the sort of person who has projects that need to go in timeout for a little while or just are hibernating, it's good to make space for them physically, so you can also make space for them mentally. It's not bad to have those. They just need a place to rest while they wait for you to get to them. So this is perfect. And the last one is perfect. And I'm sure the way you do it, if you don't like it, you can get there too. So I'm going to show you what I do. And like I said, everybody does things differently, and whatever works for you is perfect. Some people have stashes, some people don't. Both of those are great. So Julie, we can come here. I'll try to scoot over. This chair is just kind of here. I was like, can I sit here while I talk about this? So I have 5 categories of yarn. I don't sort by weight. I guess maybe when I have more time, I could. I sort by how I knit. So the first category I sort my yarn into is sock yarn. So this is all yarn that's destined to make a sock, which makes really easy. When I finish a sock, I just come out to one bin. I don't have to dig through everything and just grab this. Is this all my fingering weight yarn? No, but this is the stuff that's going to be socks. So self-striping stuff like that. The next category is my mini skeins, or you finish project and you have like 50 grams and you don't want to throw it away, but it doesn't really fit in the rest of everything else. Kind of goes in my scrap yarn right here. Sometimes when I buy yarn, the third category, I buy it in a kit. So it comes with a pattern. It's supposed to be something, or it's a sweater weight quantity. And you don't want anybody, myself, going through there and grabbing one of those skeins and orphaning the rest of those skeins. That would just be terrible. So this is the bin where I go to when I know that I'm going to pull out all 5 of those skeins or all 3 of those skeins and do the pattern that it was meant to go with, or decide that they work together, because you don't want any orphans from a kit. So those are all meant. The other 4 bins that I have here, this is my 4th category, is my general population. It is the yarn that I love. I went into a yarn store, I needed, somebody else handed it to me for my birthday and I didn't really have any plans for it. It's where I go to play when I have an idea and I just need something, it's where I go. And so that's kind of like my catch-all of everything else. And the 5th category, which I can't really show you right now, is the stuff is in the house. I have recent acquisitions, so things that I just got recently. Stuff doesn't just come straight out here, like I don't have a laundry chute. It stays in the house and I look at it and I think about what I want, and I probably bought it because I thought it was pretty, so I want to look at it for a while. So I do have some yarn in the house for that. I also have a fiber stash over there, but that's an unrelated topic. So you can see that I've organized my yarn stash in the way that I knit and in a way that works for me. So there's so many different ways you can do it. Like Kimberly, you could do it by weight, you could do it by fiber, you could do it by brand. It all depends on how you knit, how you like to do it. But it's good to see how other people do it so you can get ideas for how you do it. So next month, we are going to talk about swatch motivation. So when you are going to swatch, if you like to swatch, how do you motivate yourself to do it? Because sometimes it does take a little bit of, a little bit of kick or oomph. And so I have some ideas on that. And we can also, if you have any tips about how you make yourself swatch, that would be great. Or why you don't swatch, we'll talk about that too. It won't take too long. But anyway, thank you for being here for member tips. And if you have any tips you want to tell me about, or if you would like me to discuss anything, feel free to email us and I will definitely get back to you about it.